We are cohort 16, and this Friday we are making a presentation about fractals in nature. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Alante, and we are doing fractals in nature. This is Jocelyn, she is doing geography. This is Indy, he is doing living things. This is David, doing water, and I am doing fire and lightning and electricity. Let's start by explaining what a fractal is. A fractal is a curve or geometric shape used to model structures. So this is an example of fractals in fire. This is what fire looks like in its fractal shape. A good example of a fractal in fire is because it takes on the same shape as which it is created, and a forest fire can be categorized as a fractal because when lightning it is created when lightning hits a tree or when the sun ignites dry grass and oxygen carries the fire, it makes it spread. Lightning can also be categorized as a fractal because it has a similar jagged shape. Than the bolt before it.
So geography. Starting off, we'll be talking about mountains. The way mountains are formed is by randomly shaped L's. The way it starts off is by a triangle. When a mountain is formed, you start with the triangle and then you subdivide it with smaller triangles. As you make those triangles and you move the center point randomly up or down and you connect it with the other smaller triangles, it starts to create a landscape that looks like a mountain. Moving on to rocks. Rocks are formed from mountains. It goes from mountains, boulders, rocks, pebbles, and grain sand. The way it's formed is either by earthquake. As the earthquake happens, it can cause erosion and it breaks down from the mountains and creates rocks. Also, it is able to happen from weather changes, from winter to summer. As winter comes, the rock gets cold, and from the water from fall or rainfall, it can expand in the rock and causes breakage, leading to rocks. As you continue the cycle, it shows the fractal between the mountains and the rocks and pebbles. They are all fractals, but they are different sizes, but have the same pattern. Moving on to rivers. Rivers start from rainfall. As rainfall happens, it creates an erosion, and as that happens, it goes downhill. And as the erosion happens, it deepens the land, and so the rainfall goes down deeper and creates rivers. As it starts to rain more and the erosion gets bigger, it leads to other sub-rivers, and as it connects to other ones, it can create bigger lakes or bigger oceans.
So now we'll be covering fractals and living things. And we can't talk about fractals if we don't address the golden ratio, or the golden proportions. So fractals are geometric repeating patterns depicting phi, which is 1.618. Exactly one proportion to the next, this is 1.618 times larger than the previous. Following this golden ratio is also the divine proportion, or called the golden ruler. This is what helps structure all of our proportions of mostly all living beings, where there are multiple lengths, 1.618 times larger than the other. We can also see this in trees, where Fibonacci sequence is at its most prime example, where the branches that come off the stem are the two numbers adding to its base. So you can see here, like 8 and 13 is 21, and then further up, like 5 and 3 is 8. Trees are prime examples of fractals as they branch off these patterns consistently throughout the entire length of it. With this knowledge, we can find out how much a tree can absorb carbon dioxide, or even the structure of an ecosystem in a rainforest due to one tree's fractal patterns. Next, we can talk about the golden proportions in many living beings, including ourselves, or penguins and dolphins. This is the ratio within the penguin's height and its proportions following the golden rulers, same with dolphins. One prime example is like ourselves and our index finger. We would look from our nail bed to the second joint is exactly like 1.68 times bigger than the previous, same with the last previous nail. And then our different orientations depict many different golden ratios and their structures. As you can see here. You can see yourself.
Alright, so there's a famous quote. So, be like water. It is formless, it is shapeless. You put it in a cup, it becomes a cup. You put it in a teapot, it becomes a teapot. It can float and it can crash. So that was said by Bruce Lee. And that was much of his philosophy in the Jeet Kune Do system, and also his philosophy in general and in life. And that can apply greatly to water. So when you think of water, water isn't going to be like a fractal, right? It doesn't have edges, it doesn't have shapes in general. It's just something that can either adapt or flow. So if we go to the vortex, so the vortex was considered in 1930 the base principle of water. So water, when you put it in a tub or a sink, it flows, right? It'll keep flowing, it will grow. So we have to also remember that water can adapt into three forms. It can become solid, it can become liquid, it can also become a gas. So water in itself, that shows adaptability. So when it's in a vortex shape, it flows because due to an effect called the Coriolis effect and also gravity. So water always tends to find the matter of least resistance or the path of least resistance. So as we see here, when you put it down a drain, water will bend itself and it will flow in a vortex in a similar fashion as the Fibonacci sequence or the golden ratio. It will flow down the drain slowly, slowly, slowly. And also when this effect happens, there's a drop in temperature, and also it's also the gravitational pull inside the circle is greater. Go to the next one. Alright, so this water also can create fractals in on top of itself. This is caused by calcium branching off, much in the fractal effect. This is actually caused by calcium, but we can see that water. So if you put water in a bottle, for example, and you leave it there for a couple of days, the calcium inside it will continue to adapt and grow, or build upon itself until it forms a natural fractal. This is all building on top of that water. And then ice, so if you've ever woken up in the morning and you've seen your car and it's been frozen over, you see on top of the windshield it's all cracks and ice, that's also considered a fractal. And that's all because of water. Water has changed form and has been able to create these different fractals and cracks. So, in general, fractals are in basically everything in our lives, and especially in the nature that we see around us. We see it in all the seasons. In fall, we see it in the trees. We see it in winter by the way that ice forms. We see it in the summer in the wildfires in California, and in the earth when we go out and see nature and mountains in general. And
yeah. So far, fractals is only like a philosophical theory because we only have one universe that we know of and that we can observe. And so far, it seems like everything, all the way down to our DNA, has some sort of fractal nature and ratio within it.
Does anybody have any questions?
Who was the project lead for this?
Okay.
That's it? Try again. Questions? Nobody. All you people are experts on natural.
David, how does the water add on to itself? Like, how does it expand? Yeah, like,
Before we jump into the
like you explain like practice
Nice.
with water.
Oh, yeah, so water in liquid form. So if you gather like a large portion of water, it'll always find the path of its resistance. So if you have like water in like, let's say a container, there's a crack in it, it'll always flow. But it'll also go to the vortex form or in some shape or form. So water will bend itself in order to constantly be able to find a path. So in itself, it's building smaller and smaller and smaller.
So it's
So
like
that's a practical part of it.
That's fact, yeah.
so it's like smaller particles kind of like compounding onto like a bigger shape. Alright.
They're just it'll flow. Yeah, so like when Andy was talking about the ratio, so it's bigger in this, yeah, and it swirls in and stuff. This just happens naturally. I mean, you don't have to tell water to do it. It just naturally goes to the path of least resistance. It'll change itself.
Any other questions?
Did anybody else cover fractals in weather patterns? Any other team? Was that supposed to be covered by the natural people? Natural manifestation of fractals. PM.
Yeah, it was supposed to be in the nature, but
Project lead, did you cover weather patterns?
We could have gone more in depth with labs.
Are you the project lead?
No.
Project lead, did you cover weather patterns?
yeah, we talked about.
Are you the project lead? Project lead, did you cover weather patterns?
No.
No. Sit down.